Welcome to the Bookworm Bindery with Cathy-Lynn, and welcome to another Finish It Friday. This week I have been working on greeting cards. I was given a couple of shoe boxes full of greeting cards and their envelopes, all new and unused. And it's been about a week and a half ago, I've been cutting, and I have gotten the cards themselves worked into flaps and tucks and did some fussy cutting. Now I'm working with the envelopes, and some of those envelopes are going to make wonderful pockets. Some of them were fairly plain, but a lot of them had really beautiful flaps. So, for instance, here's a couple of these envelopes. And their flaps and the back side of their envelopes, really beautiful. So what I'm doing with these are in a stack to be simply glued into a journal. This will be glued onto a page. Let me find a page. Oh, here's a page of fussy cuts, we'll pretend, from the Paper Outpost. So I've got this, and if we glued that onto this page, overlapping the edge, and then it gives me a really pretty addition to this side with the pocket. This size envelope will only go in my largest of journals, which just standard large size journal for me is 9 by 5 3/4. So this will go in nicely, fill up the page well. When you open it up, you'll see a nice page that you could write on, and then a place to tuck something. And that's what's happening with these. Thank you, Pam, for the use of your fussy cut there, your cards. So that's what's going to happen with these two. So let me put those back in the pile so that I don't mix them with other things. And then what I have is I only have a couple left to cut, and then I have some to process, to play with. So let's do these, get them to this point. Okay, so what I'm doing with these is, well, let me step back. Sometimes the front of the envelope is really beautiful all the way up, and I want to use the whole thing. If that's the case, then I'm just going to turn this over and cut this flap off right at the seam, or the fold, I guess. And that's what this is. So I have several of these I haven't done anything with, and I just wanted to kind of show you. I may or may not be getting anything done with those. Then I have ones where, this one works better because you can see a print, where, like this, the design doesn't come up all the way, and I can actually cut it up here, creating a flap for the flap, so that when I glue that down, cut away the excess, I have a nice reinforced fold here. And this is the actual opening of the pocket, because this, I'll probably use glue stick to make sure that this adhesive sticks well. But this will be glued down. I'll glue stick that. This gets glued into the corner, and then in goes something that you would want to put in. So that's going to reinforce. And in this case, I already have a beautiful edge. So let's cut the last two, and then play. So again, this could be cut off as far as here and still have a pretty pocket. I'm going to be making pockets next with the remaining part of these envelopes. So I'm straightening it along an edge here, and then I'm straightening my straight edge ruler along this line. It's not as much flap as I want, so I'm pulling it over. Readjust. And then I'm just going to cut that off. Into the pile. This goes over here. And then this one, really cute. Will make a nice pocket. But here's the flap. And this might be something I use in the same book. Then you've got, oh hey, this looks like coordinates. Coordinates, we like that. Not that we don't like those individual things that are just like, whoa, look at this, or, oh, that's really unusual. We want that too. Really, it's a junk journal. We want it all. Okay, so that goes into a stack of envelopes ready to be turned into pockets. Let's get rid of this. Just lives under the edge of my cutting board. Won't need that, but I'm going to need scissors. And my glue is right here. So I am going, just put this here so you can kind of see it and remember what it is we're doing. I'm going to start with the ones where the flaps need to be glued down. Just do a quick glue on these, and we'll go from there. So what are you working on? Are you finishing something up, or have you started a new project, or both? I'm in the works of 2 projects this month, in addition to just my little bits and pieces of things. Making ephemera. I'm working on a custom journal for my friend Stephanie, and I am working on a journal for sale, which is called Cream and White Lace. I don't know, I may not keep that name, but it's the description that I'm using for now. Okay, what did I do with the other one that I just glued? I've been doing this all morning, trying to get things done. Thought, well, I better get this filmed, and I still haven't got this done. Perfect subject. It would be great if you have the time to pop over and put a comment in as to what you're doing, what you hope to be doing soon. If you have any questions about this, certainly. Let that dry a little bit. So it really does help the YouTube algorithm. We probably get tired of talking about it and hearing about it, but it is really what drives these videos into your feed. And along those lines, if you go over and hit the like button, if you like this, and follow, hit the bell, register for all. That's what I recommend. Register for all. That way you get these notifications as they come out, but apparently you also get more things along this line, and that's cool because there's so many great creators out there. People I highly recommend. Too many to name. There we go. Okay. So if you're interested in the videos, the custom is a fairy video for Stephanie, and that should have 1 or 2 videos out if you want to pop over to look at those. And there's the one that I've already glued. Nope, not glued down. And the cream and white lace one. There should be a couple on that one as well. And then I'll be adding to those. Those are going to be little series. Somewhere around maybe 6 to 8 parts. And one last one. Now, you can see that these kind of are a deep V kind of shape, and that's going to give a lot of tuck space. And I have several that are smaller, but sometimes we have small tuck spaces. So it's too pretty to say no. I certainly could have taken and done some fussy cutting or something with that, but quite honestly, I had a lot of cards and envelopes. And I realized as I was doing fussy cuts and I was cutting things out that I should look for some other ideas as well. And this is the one that I fell upon for the flaps anyway. Okay, so those are glued. Now let me go back and just cut these tips off, and I'll be right back. Okay, I felt bad for you thinking you might be missing out on some fun stuff while I cut off corners. So I saved you 1.5 flaps. Okay, so now that these have been reinforced, just with their own weight of paper, now I can look at this and say, how do I want to decorate these? And the fact is that I didn't decorate a lot of them, and I'm not going to decorate all of these. But I did want to at least go through a few so that you could see, you know, get some ideas, see how you could do that. So actually I had quite a few of these little guys and a few of these bigger ones. So when I was showing you this one to start with, I said I probably wasn't going to do anything with this edge because it's already very cool in its specklediness. And I think I am going to just leave this one as it is. So this is going to go in the pile. Once I go to put it into a book, I'll have a better idea of how I might want this one to be decorated. These little cutie pies. Now, the ones that were cut off flush, I will do something on all of their edges because I don't want just a single edge. It's just not quite as sturdy as I'd like it to be. Here we have this Christmas wreath. Okay, so let's do this. I have pulled over some trims and let's see. Perhaps a wider trim on these edges will help make them bigger, make them bigger. So maybe we can do that. Okay, let's try that. Not that one. Let's see. Oh, let me put these back into their respective piles of need to have and don't need to have. Okay, let's get this one opened. Maybe so I like to keep these videos under 20 minutes. It doesn't always work that way. So we will do a few decorations here, and then if I need to, I'm not going to get these done, then I will carry on my merry way. So let's start with this. This butterfly is facing this way. This really runs sideways, so I'm not going to worry about it. Run. That. Now I'm going to want to cut this trim off on the line that continues out, so I need to move it down to ensure that I have enough trim. Okay, it didn't feel quite even. There. That feels better. Looks a little better. So that really has increased the depth of my pocket, as well as reinforcing this edge here. And now I'm going to cut that. Now it is a grosgrain ribbon, but it will fray. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this Fabri-Tac glue, and I'm just going to do a little line on this underside now. It will get glued down later, so it's not like I'm putting something on that's going to show and look funky. And Set it out a little bit. Make sure that it catches the frayable parts of the edge. And then we're going to let that glue dry. And let's pull out some inks. Because I'm going to want to ink that up. Here, I'll show you what I just moved. Made a fun sound. It's this really pretty T10. And I have a lot of 10s, so I keep things in my T10s. But in this case, it's cat treats. Because my cats are often around and I have to give them treats. It's great being able to work from home. And then, there's the, how do I keep the cats out of here when I'm trying to video? And if you've seen some of my previous videos, you know I'm not successful. Because sometimes they just walk across and get in the way. Okay, that's starting to tack nicely. We'll let it dry a second more. Okay, so let's go ahead and look. That guy. Let's see. I don't need something that's going to stick off really far. So let's take that trim that I have somewhere that has leaves. Okay, I don't see it. Oh, yes, I do. This one. So it's basically a braided jute, and it's got little leaves on it, and this is going to be really pretty on this. And pardon me if things sound a little funny or the camera shakes, because indeed Hayden has decided to join me. He's a great big cat, so when he sits on my lap, he takes up all of the space. Okay, so here goes with this trim. He just flattened his ears and is jumping down because it stinks. Okay, this can go along this edge. It's still going to be nice if I choose to use it for a holiday winter theme, and it's going to be great if I use it as a forest theme, so this is going to be perfect. Okay. Actually, I think I want that leaf to stay. Good. And that leaf is, yeah, that's going to stay too. So obviously this is going to look really pretty if you wanted to put something like a mushroom, fussy cut, a bird, butterflies, flowers, snails, outdoorsy things. And if you were going to put it in one for Christmas, you might want to put some snowflakes or something on. So I'm leaving these pretty much undecorated other than inking the edges and putting a trim on. So I pulled my green because it seemed appropriate. There's green in the butterfly, so this is lavenders and creams, purples. But there are touches of green in the butterfly, and that's just going to pull out very nicely. So this one, good to go. This one, let's go ahead and ink the edges just in case. Maybe I should have inked it before I put the trim on, because I can see that white a bit. We'll see. Okay, fixating. I think in the long run it's not going to matter. There we go. So there's that. And then I have, oh my goodness, I have the perfect trim. I started to go for something with bees on it, and I looked down and I saw this. And I was like, I have to use this. Now, this crochet trim on the outside is cream, not white, like the flowers are. But, whoa, sorry about that. Let's see. But, let's see what we can do to get a little bit more of the white flowers in. This section right here, maybe. Yep, that's going to do what I want it to do. Alright, so let's get this glued down. We've just hit the 20-minute mark. So, I think that I am going to let you go as I finish these up. And see you next week again. Well, I won't see you, I guess. But I'll be back next week again for a Finish It Up Friday. And there'll certainly be other videos that come out. I don't release really super regular. I love the thought of Wednesday and Sunday. I love the thought. I don't know that it necessarily happens. Okay, I'm going to need to put another row of glue here. Cut this off first. Let's position that just a little bit better. Okay. Just follow along the curve of the envelope. Set these aside. Reinforce down. So again, make sure you hit the like if you've enjoyed the video, and comments. They're very, very helpful. So that would be cool if you have a minute to take. And don't forget that you can share this if you have a friend that also does junk journaling or paper crafts, and you want to do that. There's a share button there. Okay. So these are the 3 that I got done today, other than cutting out the last of the ones that I hadn't gotten finished. So I will come back with another Finish It Up Friday next week, and hopefully you'll be able to tune back in. Thank you. Have fun with your papers.